The note. The air in the Bukit Bintang apartment was thick with unspoken words. The husband checked his watch, his mind already at the departure gate of the airport. The wife handed him his passport, her touch brief and cold. "Have a safe flight," she said, but the words felt like a script she had memorized years ago. As the door clicked shut, the wife leaned against the floor-to-ceiling window. Below, the neon lights of Kuala Lumpur pulsed like a heartbeat she could no longer feel. For years, her world had shrunk to fit the corners of this apartment and the expectations of a man who saw her only as a shadow of his own ambition. A sharp, frantic knocking broke the silence an hour later. The wife opened the door to find the friend. He was breathless, his face pale under the hallway's fluorescent lights. "Listen," he gasped, his voice cracking. "The flight, there was a report, an accident over the coast." The friend held up his phone, showing a live news feed of a smoke-filled sky. "They're saying there are no survivors," he whispered, his eyes filling with tears. The wife stared at the screen, the blue light reflecting in her pupils. The world seemed to tilt, the sounds of the city outside suddenly muffled by a roar in her ears. After the friend left to join the other families, the wife sank to the floor. The weight of the news finally hit her. She sobbed into her hands, the sound echoing through the empty rooms. She cried for the man she had married, for the memories of their youth, and for the sudden, violent end to a life they had built together. But as the sun began to rise over the city, a strange sensation washed over her. The crushing weight on her chest began to lift. She looked into the hallway mirror and didn't see a grieving widow. She saw a woman who was suddenly, terrifyingly and beautifully free. The cage door had been thrown open by fate. She sat at the desk and pulled out a sheet of cream-colored stationery. Her pen moved with a frantic, desperate honesty she hadn't felt in a decade. "I loved you once," she wrote, "but I lost myself trying to keep you whole. I have been a ghost in this house for too long. Today, I am choosing to exist again." The wife packed a single suitcase, leaving behind the jewelry and the heavy silk dresses. She stepped out onto the balcony one last time to breathe in the humid morning air of Kuala Lumpur. As she walked toward the door, she didn't look back. She left the note on the kitchen island, a small white beacon in the center of the room. Late that evening, the apartment door creaked open. The husband stood there, his clothes wrinkled, and his face etched with the trauma of a narrow escape. The news had been wrong. His flight had made a harrowing emergency landing. "I'm home," he called out, his voice trembling into the darkness. Silence was his only answer. He walked into the kitchen and saw the note. As he read the words, the relief in his heart turned into a hollow, piercing ache. For the first time, he saw their marriage not through his own comfort, but through the wreckage he had left in her soul. He was alive, but he was finally, truly alone.